Blog Talk Radio.
Oh, it's time to get real. Oh, yeah. It's the new experience. Yeah, keep your ears open for this one now. You got a question for RLN? Yeah, it's time to get some answers, baby. Oh, now we getting real. Yeah, it's time to get down. Yeah, you gonna feel good now. Real good. Now, what I'm talking about.
Time to listen to Reality Spirituality. Welcome, my dear listeners. Welcome, audience. You're listening to Reality Spirituality, and I'm your host, Rebecca Lynn Norrington. Reality Spirituality. What the hell is this show about? This show is about sharing strategies, wisdom, experiences with my audience. And why? So that you can be happier, so that you can be more peaceful, so that you, my dear audience, can start taking deeper breaths, living life with your shoulders down and relaxed. Reality spirituality is a term that I use to describe our everyday life experiences, and they're linked to spirituality. They're linked to spirituality and personal growth. This show, Reality Spirituality, will dissect your everyday life experiences down to the least common denominator to discover, to learn why we're just not as happy as we could be. I'm telling you, you think you're happy? Let me rephrase that. Not you think you're happy. I know that there are times that you're happy. I know that there are times in your life where you feel great, where you feel, wow, this is a good day, where you put your hands behind your head and you are grateful and you're loving the moment. But I have a question for you. Are you loving the moment 24/7? 365 days out of the year? Every moment? That's what this show is about. Adding ways to add to your happiness, ways to maintain and ways to sustain your happiness, to keep that smile on your face. And I don't care what's going on in your life. It has no bearing. Reality spirituality has nothing to do with what's going on outside of your internal self. What's going on inside? Reality spirituality deals with what's going on inside. And let me tell you something. There's a clue. I remember that whatever was happening to me dictated how I felt. If I didn't get, I don't know, let's see, extra overtime, the man of my dreams didn't call me. Why didn't he call? Anything that could happen would take me to a downward spiral. And this show is about keeping you, no matter what happens, from death to taxes, from losing your job to no bank account, to health issues, wealth issues. This show is about keeping you peaceful internally. I remember thinking, see if you relate to this. If I had X amount of dollars, I'd be so happy. If I had the man of my dreams, Prince Charming, oh my God, my life, I would be okay. If I got the position that I applied for, if I was the exact weight that I thought I should be, I'm laughing because it's true. All of these external things, I was thinking that if they lined up, I got everything, then that's it. I'm happy. But this is the kicker, audience. This is the key. This is the truth. Whatever happens on the outside has nothing to do with what happens on the inside. Unless you choose it. And that's what we're going to talk about today. We are, if you've listened to yesterday's show, this is a 5-part series. And I cannot take credit for this, and I will not take credit for this, but this book was written by this wonderful author. In fact, believe me, I'm going to get in contact with her. She lives in Denmark. Her name is Barbara Berger, and she wrote The Mental Laws, Understanding the Way the Mind Works. And I just want to share this treasure chest of wisdom with you. Before I go on, I want to also let you know, my dear audience, that you can call, participate in the show. Call me with comments, suggestions. What's happening to you? What are you dealing with? What do you find is a huge mountain that you're just struggling to climb? Please call in 646-564-9619. Again, 646-564-9619, and be part of the show. We were talking about, yesterday we were talking about the mental laws and how laws, universal laws, scientific laws, it's just going to happen. Laws are impersonal. In other words, if somebody jumps off a building, they're going to hit the ground because of the law of gravity. It doesn't matter if they've given $500 million to charity. It doesn't matter if they're a serial killer. They are going to hit the ground. So this is what we're talking about today. We're talking about the mental laws and understanding them, understanding how the mind works. Yesterday, very briefly, we went over the law of thoughts arising, how I don't care if you meditate all day. If you sit quietly and you stare at a blank wall, thoughts will come into your head and thoughts will go away. Gone. Thoughts. Our mind does not, in its waking moments, does not stop the thoughts. Even when you're meditating, you can slow down the thoughts. But that's part of what our mind does, is back and forth thoughts. And so we talked about that. And we also talked about how these thoughts that come into our head have nothing to do with our identity. Let me repeat that. The thoughts that you have I don't care whether they're good, bad, indifferent, have nothing to do with who you are. Now, I don't know about you, but believe me, I was under the impression that my thoughts, hell yeah, that's who I am. I'm thinking them, right? I'm thinking them. Then who else could be thinking them? But no. That is a misconception that has plagued the entire world. The thoughts that you have coming in and out have nothing to do with who you are, have nothing to do with your identity. And we talked about that yesterday. And again, if you want to find more information, please go to just Google Barbara Berger, The Mental Laws, Understanding the Way the Mind Works. And she is offering, you can download this book for free for a limited time. And then we talked about the law of witnessing, which means, okay, if our thoughts aren't who we are, if we're not our thoughts, then who are we? And we came up with the help of Miss Berger that there are entities. There's a different entity that says, I'm tired, I'm sad, I'm hungry, I'm bored, I'm pissed off. The person or the entity that is articulating that's not you either. What? That's not who you are either. And today we are going to discuss. We are going to clear all of this up. We are going to. I'm so excited. I'm actually getting tongue-tied here. We are going to discuss and talk about the beginning, the genesis of thoughts, and how all of this came about. If you aren't your thoughts, and you're this other entity with unlimited power, unlimited ability, unlimited potential, how the hell did we get in this predicament? And that is going to be what we're going to talk about today. How did we get to this point? Because I don't know about you, but for me, understanding what happened, why it happened, the cause of it happening, where it really helps me to get a hold of, break down. It helps me to understand. It helps me to understand where I am now and how I got there. We're going to take a quick commercial break. And again, I want to encourage you to please call in with your comments, with your suggestions, your questions, whatever you're going through. 646-564-9619, 646-564-9619. And we're going to come back and we are going to discuss how the hell all of these thoughts Where did they start? Is this before the dinosaurs?
Oh, it's time to get real. Oh, yeah. It's the new experience. Yeah, keep your ears open for this one now. You got a question for RLN? Yeah, it's time to get some answers, baby. Oh, now we getting real. Yeah, it's time to get down. Yeah, you gonna feel good now. Real good. Now, that's what I'm talking about. Time to get real.
Welcome back, audience. Welcome back. Oh, my God. Don't you love that reality spirituality theme song? My son, Nathan Norrington, wrote that, produced, directed, sang, created that theme song. Oh, my God. I just love that. Thank you for listening, and welcome back to the show. You're listening to Reality Spirituality. I'm your host, Rebecca Lynn Norrington, and we are talking about where the hell did all of these thoughts come from? How did we get to this point where our thoughts determined our behavior? Our thoughts determined what we said. Our thoughts determined who we are. And now we find out on July 31st, 2012, that our thoughts have nothing to do with our identity? Does that even make sense? Of course it does. And I'm here to help you and to help me with this. I don't know about you, but I've thought about how much time I have in this lifetime. How much time do I have? 5 years, 10 years, 1 year, 2 days, 15 more years, 20? Who knows? Who knows? I have no answer to that. But what I do know is that I am sick and tired of spending it the way I used to. Getting mad, having a temper, no patience, irritated, jealous, resentful, bitter, revengeful, sad, mad. Can you relate? I don't know about you, but I am sick and tired. Sick and tired of feeling bad. Or sick and tired of feeling mad. Or sick and tired of feeling irritated. I'm tired of it. You know why? It doesn't make me feel good. And this is what we're going to be talking about today. Listen, there's nothing wrong with what you're doing, how you're doing it, why you're doing it. If you are satisfied and I mean satisfied with your internal thermometer, then hey, I'm with you. But if there is an inkling, if there is the smallest thought of, I sure do wish I could not get so angry, or I sure do wish I would not be so impatient. I would really like to not have that bother me, or have him bother me, or her bother me. I hope that I wasn't affected by what's on the news. And so with all of that, if you even have an inkling, if you have a small, just a small thought of, yeah, I could drop my shoulders a little bit. I could take more deep breaths. I could start enjoying this life. Well, that's what I'm here for. The third law is the law of naming. Naming, Naming, naming. And so when we study the way the mind works, we come to this law, the law of naming. And then this is basically what happens. And this is, again, taken from The Mental Laws, Understanding the Way the Mind Works by Berger. When we look at the world, we think and we see this and that and you and me, but in reality, this physical world is a continuous, unbroken, it's a field of energy. There is one field of energy that we are living in. It's not a dual field. There's only one field. You and I are experiencing this. Experiencing this. That's really hard to say. So we're experiencing our reality. We're experiencing what's happening, what's not happening. That's what this life is about, an experience. And with that experience, we're compelled to, we're taught to label or name what we're experiencing. I mean, what are you're experiencing? Of course you have a name what you're experiencing. Of course you have a name for it. Of course you have a label for it. I'm pissed. I'm depressed. I'm mad. I'm jealous. We have to name it. But where did this naming come from? What is the beginning? What is the genesis of naming? Let's just say this on the most basic level. We learn to name our world. Our mother and our father teaches us to say tree, house, car, dog, girl, mommy, daddy. We are taught to name and to label everything. Now, Barbara Berger is writing, and she says in the past year, she says she's had the privilege of watching her son and her daughter-in-law raise her grandson. And she says that, how the hell, I'm paraphrasing, how the hell does this baby learn what's good, what's bad, what's hot, what's cold, what's a bed, what's a dog, what's a cat, what's a girl, what's a boy? How do we learn this? Well, we learn it because we're taught. We are taught to label. We are taught to put titles and names and labels on everything. You're a boy, you're a girl, you're a car, you're a dog, you're a fat, you're skinny, old, young. How did we get these? How the hell did we learn how to label? But more importantly, after we learned how to label and what to label, good, bad, happy, sad, up, down, depressed, ecstatic, when we learned the labels, guess what else we learned? Oh my God, this is so crazy. It's this woman is a genius. Barbara Berger is a genius. You know what she says? She says, after we learn how to label, we learned how to judge every label. We learned how to, that's not good, that's not bad, that's happy. We learned how to place a judgment on all of our labels. I mean, don't you have a judgment on everything? Somebody dies. What is your automatic reaction? Oh gosh, I feel. Come on. But you know what? There is a society in India that when someone dies, they don't mourn. They celebrate. I'll come back to that. We were all taught to judge. We were all taught to label. First, we have to label girl, boy, woman, man, ice cream, mountain, tree, label everything, and then we come up with a judgment about the label. But this is the question, my dear audience. This judgment that we've come up with, this judgment that we have, this judgment that we hold on to, is it real? Is it conditioned? Is it an illusion? Let me say this. We start to believe the stories that we tell ourselves in our head. We start to believe the stories in our head. We start to believe the judgments, the putting a label, a judgment, good or bad. We start to believe that. Why? Why do you believe that somebody dies? Why do you believe that that's a bad thing? Why do you believe that that's a sad thing? See, this belief system, I'm telling you, is getting a lot more media and a lot more attention than it deserves. Because let me give you this example. And again, I point to Barbara Berger, who wrote The Mental Laws, Understanding the Way the Mind Works. So, let me come up with something. Because once you've labeled whatever you've labeled, you also have to attach a label of good or bad. Usually we don't say, oh, that's neutral. Gee, what happened to you today? Well, I had a neutral day. You've either had a good day or a bad day. Not too many people, it was kind of a neutral day, so, up, down, doesn't count. Come on. But this is what Barbara Berger says. These things and these labels that we come up with starts to give us a roadmap of what we're going to think. I mean, think about it for a second. Most of the United States, somebody dies. Oh, gee, it's so sad. Oh, God, the funeral, everyone's crying. Everyone's crying. And again, like I said, somebody in India, someone dies, and there is a celebration of their life, a celebration of what they meant to other people. So a death can be a celebration, or a death can be a sad mourning. Come on, audience. You got to agree with me with that. But what and who makes that decision? That decision is made by you. And that decision is colored by whatever experiences, whatever background, how you were raised, what you were taught. That decision is based on the labeling is based on your environment, how you grew up. But this is what Barbara Berger is trying to say. She is saying that we really believe what we think. We believe what we think. And guess what? We've already discovered and we've already proved that our thoughts are not us. And our thoughts have nothing to do with who we are. But we start believing these thoughts that basically are an illusion. What the hell am I trying to say? What am I talking about? What I'm saying is that your thoughts and your judgment and your definition of your thoughts is all relative to your situation. Now, if I said, okay, you know what? I think that I'm living in a community and the weather here is freezing. 40 degrees above zero. But what about the people that live in an environment that the weather is 45 degrees below zero? What I'm trying to say, audience, is that everything is relevant to your personal situation. Getting a divorce, well, for some people it's the end of the world because of so many reasons. Oh, I made a commitment. Maybe you are maybe you think that you have to work through everything, and maybe your religion preaches and teaches that you hang on and stay with. You're going to feel pretty shitty when you get a divorce. But what if you have another mindset of, thank God I let that guy go because he was bringing me down, making me sad, cheating on whatever. And so now it's the happiest feeling that you're divorced. We've already talked about death in the United States, where usually it's a big, mourning, you're crying, and then in India everybody's celebrating. So what does that mean? That means that you have a conscious choice. That means that everything is relative to your experience. That means that there are more than one way to judge, decipher, look at, experience, and experience. There is more than one way. When I started this reality spirituality, my intention and my reasons for talking to you and sharing with you, my reasons were to open up what has happened to me, and if you relate with or not relate, the bottom line is this show is about personal, physical, mental, personal the word is studying, deciphering, discovering, and sharing. Audience, my dear listeners, I have spent a lot of time angry, bitter, revengeful, let's just say opposite of loving behavior. And I got to a point where my priority from now on until I breathe my last breath is, how do I live the remainder of my days, the remainder of my years at peace That is the most important thing in my life, is the internal peace. We were talking about labeling and deciding, defining what objects, people, and I want to say to you, and I want to ask you, if your parents didn't teach you ball, sky blue, fire hot, ice cubes cold, girl, boy, if your parents didn't didn't teach you these labels, what type of mindset would you have? And it's not about the answer to the question. It's about realizing that, maybe what I was taught, maybe what I have experienced, maybe what I think, which has nothing to do with, which thinking is not us, needs to be reevaluated, rethought, retested. My mission, my journey, my commitment is to share with you, my audience, my dear listeners, share with you what I've discovered, the secrets, the strategies, the way to live. This is my way. And my way is about being calm in the middle of a storm, about being grateful at the same time you're laid off of your job, at the time of being loving when someone stabs you in the heart. Thank you for listening today. We are going to continue with tomorrow's show, which is going to discuss in depth the laws of cause and effect. You've heard about it, the law of cause and effect, also known as the law of attraction. Kind of the same thing, cause and effect. And we're studying all week the mental laws and understanding the way the mind works. I want to thank you for all of your emails. Thank you for your comments. You can find me on several websites. One is www.timetoplay.com. I'm one of the professionals, the happiness professional. You can find me on www.selfgrowth.com, Rebecca L. Norrington, and also on thestateofappreciation.com, which is a free website, and we explore tools, strategies, ideas to not only have the ability to look in the mirror and smile, but look in the mirror and be grateful for everything that's happening I will talk to you again tomorrow, Wednesday, part 3 of the mental laws, understanding the way the mind works. And tomorrow we are going to be talking about the law of cause and effect, one of my favorite laws. And we're also going to be talking about the law of emotion. What? Our emotions have a law? Yes, they do. You mean if I'm sad that there's a reason, yes, there is. Again, thank you. Send me your comments, your messages, your suggestions, your questions via email. Thank you so much for listening to Reality Spirituality. This is Rebecca Lynn Norrington. Until tomorrow, enjoy and appreciate your day.
Yeah. Oh, it's time to get real. Oh, yeah. It's a new experience. Reality, spirituality. Yeah, keep your ears open for this one, man. Reality, spirituality. You got a question for RLN? Reality, spirituality. Yeah, it's time to get some answers, baby. Reality, spirituality. Oh, now we getting real. Getting real. Good now. Get real good.